All right, two more things on the deal, and then we'll move on to some other topics, and then again get to your questions. Raise your hand if you want in. Ezra Klein says he would have voted no if he were senator. I know you were all waiting to find out what he would have done. Here's 112. This is what Ezra wrote this morning in the wake of the deal, and I just want to go sentence by sentence and ask you guys, just both of you, agree or disagree. First sentence, he says he would have voted against it. Shutdowns are an opportunity to make your arguments, and the country was just starting to pay attention. It's a two-part thing. Do you guys agree with that sentence?
No.
I don't
Yeah, a
either.
little bit.
I don't.
Pay
All right.
attention. I mean, there's a difference
Well,
between
because the
attention
pain
and
points were getting
painful.
higher, so
Right.
more people were
Yes.
dialing into it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But what about the first part? Shutdowns are an opportunity to make your arguments.
Oh, sure, we have for 40 days.
All right. If
Yeah, that
Trump
was
wanted to
done.
cancel flights over Thanksgiving rather than keep healthcare costs down, I don't see why Democrats should save him for making his priorities so exquisitely clear. Do you
Because
agree
you're
with the-
squeezing people. I mean, that's the problem. These aren't pawns on a chessboard. They're American people's lives.
But do you,
That's
but
what
the-
he's missing.
But implicit in that also is that Trump was going to be blamed for the canceled flights.
Well, he
Oh,
has been blamed for the shutdown. That's clear as day.
I don't know about this. I think that Sean Duffy's done a fantastic job of making safety the priority, and I don't think anybody.
But
So
who do people blame for the shutdown?
I think there's
Republicans
definitely
by a little bit.
more.
By a little
Look,
bit.
we had two-thirds of the problems. You have House. I mean, Republicans in the legislative branch and Trump versus Democrats. So yeah, we bore a little bit more, but I also believe that as it went on, that was a risk that
Right.
Democrats were taking.
Of course,
Next,
of course, I
next
agree.
sentence. I worry that Democrats have just taught Trump that they will fold under pressure.
No, I mean,
just
this
said
goes to the fact that nobody's ever done a shutdown and won.
Correct. That's
So
the
the-
bigger takeaway. That's it.
The shutdown caucus is 0 for 14 now.
Okay, last sentence. I'll skip some. It's not a win, meaning for Democrats, but given how badly shutdowns often go for the opposition party, it's better than a loss. Dan, agree with that?
So what does that mean? I mean, this is what it goes to. So I would ask Ezra, if this goes on till January and people are starving and airport traffic stops and Trump does not get, should we just keep going? Because
but
it
is
becomes
but
a
is-
who's
but
you
is
know
this-
what
but
is
it-
biggest
but is
at
it,
some
but is
point.
it better than a loss for the Democrats? What happened?
No, because
No.
what you do is you say you lost the battle, but we're going to win the war. Like that's where the party's got to get its head around. Healthcare went from being like in number 7 or 8 in polls of what's most important to literally number 2 or 3 behind inflation and the economy. So affordability, which is what that fits into, was big on Tuesday. Today, we all would agree it's still a pretty big issue. We are on offense in that fight. Republicans get to that terrain. Stop. You weren't going to go 1 for 13. You
Right.
were going to go 0 for 14. Just like
Shush.
Obama was never going to cave into Ted Cruz.
Sean, what's the White House and Hill Republican strategy now on healthcare? Between
That's
now
the
and-
problem. Is that the dog just caught the car, and we've got to figure that. Like, and this is where we can't take our foot off the gas and go, okay, we won. It's now
Exactly.
what? So this is going to be the problem, and this again is where if Schumer had been a real leader, he would have said, I'm going to box them in on an issue that they don't have an
Exactly.
answer for. And he blew it. And that's the video even just now. He had an opportunity to act like he had a plan. He didn't. Now the problem is, I mean, Republicans better get their act together really quick
Yeah.
because you've got people, Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out and saying, I want to extend the subsidies, or at least that's the perception of what she said. And you're going to have a food fight within there about, do we extend them at all? Do we extend them for 6 months? Do we extend them at X% of what they are? I mean, so
I don't think the House will extend the subsidies without a lot of market reform.
I agree. Oh, huge. But that's
Great.
but here's the thing. You're playing with a 3-seat majority. So tell me what the
You're-
consensus is.
You're also playing with an issue that is now expiring. So people have something and you
Right.
are now taking it away from them.
Right.
And that is a huge incentive to like, all right, we may theoretically have a lot of reforms, but we have to pass this now because I cannot have tens of thousands of my constituents losing health care.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.